In Senegal, the most important work we did was around policy development for inclusive education, pushing Minister of Education to develop a national strategy that can promote education for all, including the children with disability. We started a project that was to support the enrollment of children with disability into ordinary schools. And while implementing activities, we found that there is a huge gap in terms of policy. The Minister of Education did not have any orientation document at that moment. Sightsavers' work was to support them to develop that orientation document that can give a kind of framework for all stakeholders working on this in this area. So from the primary level schools, we continue the advocacy work because children with disability actually will be doing their exams to pass into the secondary steps, and we needed to have a more general orientation document that can facilitate their schooling at secondary stage. So we continue the advocacy work and then managed to develop a draft document that are being finalized and will be supporting with UNICEF and as a stakeholder. The orientation document focuses on the promotion of inclusive education. The Minister of Education have a national policy document which talked about equity and quality and transparency, but did not really details the equity aspect, did not talk about in details how we can facilitate enrollment of children with disability into school. So when we start the program, we saw that that was a gap, and we work with the Minister of Education to have a clear strategy that can be a guidance for the children with disability inclusion into school. That was to complement a complementary document to the national education policy that exists. I think it was a project that wanted to share that it's possible to include children with disability into ordinary school, because before what we were having in Senegal is special schools and some initiative that did not really show the orientation that can facilitate promotion of inclusive education. And we definitely work on the capacity building, we work on space adaptation. We managed to do a lot of sensitization that allowed the inclusion of more than 150 children into ordinary school. But in addition to that, we work also in STEM strengthening, specifically supporting the Minister of Education to identify the gap in terms of resources that are needed to facilitate in terms of policy, in terms of orientation. And that work is being scaling up. And I think with the support of other NGOs like UNICEF, we definitely moving to the generalization of inclusive education in Senegal. It's with Sightsavers support. We were extending the program to other regions, 2 new regions. But I think what the program helps the government to do is to have a clear view of the model. Before that was not the case. I told you that a lot of initiative was going on, but the government did not have a clear understanding of how to include children with disability. So with Sightsavers in Senegal, I think that was the main achievement in terms of giving that guidance, giving that clear understanding of the possibility, and from that we get some increased budgeting, because government have a dedicated budget line now to support inclusive education, providing equipment, accessible equipment to children with disability. And I think with all the other partners that were doing several other initiatives, now government can say that is the model that I want to promote, because this allows me to take into account all children and to make sure that no one is left behind.